Sexual Offense Act and also the Child Protection Policy. We are going to discuss in these 2 days in length about what we have to do and what are the laws are there and how we are going to work on it. I thank every one of you and I welcome every one of you who have joined us in this webinar. And thank you very much for joining this webinar. And today we are going to have 2 sessions, and we are honored to have with us as our resource person the senior advocate from Supreme Court, Advocate Mr. B.D. Das, and Advocate Premraj Gowda from High Court of Odisha. They are going to take 2 sessions, and after each session there will be a question and answer sessions. You please keep the questions ready so that whenever there will be the question and answer session, you can put your questions and the resource persons will give the solution to your questions and they will help you in answering those questions. Now I hand over the session to Advocate B.D. Das. So over to you.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Mahanti, for organizing such a good workshop on the child protection, which includes not only the POCSO, also the laws that is defined under the Juvenile Justice Act 2015, and also the RPE that deals with the punishment part, that is the corporal punishment. So I don't want to take much of your time to start, but I would like to say that this is basically again a recap because we have already arranged many seminars and webinars in the past on this child protection. But today we'll be going systematically, and tomorrow different parts will be explaining it. Today I will be talking about the child protection and the POCSO, and after me, Mr. Premraj Gowda will be speaking on the punishment part of different laws. Thereafter, tomorrow, child protection policies and the process of initiation of the disciplinary proceeding against the accused or the delinquent employee. And thereafter, there will be a session taken by Advocate S.K. Das that is pertaining to child protection policies. So there will be 4 sessions, and this will be very helpful. Please remember that after so many months, I mean, actually nearly 2 years, the school will be reopening. Physical classes will be there for all classes. Of course, some classes have started 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But we believe from April, all the classes from class 1 to 12 will be there. And the children were already, different kind of problem they are going through, including the mental trauma and different kind of abuses they have gone through, not able to express. And as soon as they come to the school, there will be a lot of reactions, and there will be many students may like to share their experience with the teachers. And also during this time, the teachers will be very careful because the laws are very stringent, very stringent, and the punishments are very hard. And most of them are not available and without any anticipatory bail. Sometimes we just don't understand the implication of the laws, and we commit the mistake for which we are into trouble, even sometimes behind the bar. Many child workers, especially the hostel workers and also the child care workers, and also some school teachers, and even to the extent of some head of the school, are going through different punishment because of the POCSO Act. They did not know it. Many of them, I have been a legal counsel for them, and they said, sir, we did not know it. This is a POCSO, we come under POCSO. Or we have been falsely implicated under this. We are not knowing about it. So what is necessary is that this is not only to help a child, but also to protect ourselves. Because the law is such that in case you come across, even if you don't commit a mistake or don't commit an offense, but you fail to inform to the police or the authorities, then also there is a jail up to 1 year. So you can't keep anything. Anything has happened, it has to be reported to the authorities as stipulated under the law. Mix because we have also some staff from other vernacular languages. विशेष करी आमे जानिबा जे जो लॉ टी हेची ताकि खाली ऑफेंस कले दंड अछि त हम ऑफेंस देखि कि न जणिले मध्ये दंड अछि. So we need to be very careful for that. And what precaution we should take for ourselves, आमे जेमति असुविधा होबनी, and what precaution the children should take that they are not abused. Basically the children are sub target and they are abused because they don't have capacity to explain or explain before the parents. I have come across many teachers who shared with me, their experience in school, not only in the ICSE school, in the government school also. The children used to be very good student, very jolly student, and suddenly they become sad, not able to express anything. And they won't talk for 2 to 3 days. Slowly, when the teacher talks to them nicely, then slowly they will break with the stories of the sexual harassment caused to them by their, cousins or the uncles or within the family. Forget about outside. And this is rampant now. The children are being abused sexually, physically, both ways, within the colony, within the complex, in the apartment. So I'll be explain you as I go on explain you. I'll be explaining you that. तेणु से पिलामानकर से अवस्थाटा आमे बुझिबा जे हाउ दे आर बीइंग अफेक्टेड आपनको आमे केमती आमे प्रोटेक्ट करिबा से विषय मु एक्सप्लेन करिबा. आई विल बी एक्सप्लेनिंग दैट. कमिंग टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. This is the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012. POCSO is Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act. This is the new law from 2012 and being implemented. And interestingly, this law has a new dimension. All the other laws, the Evidence Act under 1 says that the police has to prove the police has to prove the case of an offense, then only the accused will be punished. So here the order is reversed. The child need not to prove. Against the person the allegation is made, he or she has to say that this is thing I have not done. But এটা বুঝিয়ে দেওয়া চাহুছি যে অন্য ইয়ারে যদি দণ্ড ইয়ে হচ্ছে অপরাধ হচ্ছে পুলিশ প্রসিকিউটর হিসাবে কেস চার্জ শিট রেজ করছি পুলিশ को प्रूव করিয়া পড়বে যে এই লোকটা চুরি করেছে কি মদ পিইছে কি বাড়াইছে তাহলে দণ্ড মিলবে. যদি পুলিশ प्रूव ন করিবে সেই লোকটা খলাস হয়ে যাবে, acquitted without evidence. But here in this case এই কেসরে কোন উল্টা যে যাহা এগেইনস্ট অ্যালিগেশন আছে মো এগেইনস্ট ওটা অ্যালিগেশন আছে চাইল্ড রাইট উপরে POCSO अगेंस्ट ताले मो अगेंस्ट रे जो ऑफेंस अछि आई हैव टू प्रूव मते प्रूव करिया पड़ियो जे मु ए ऑफेंस करी नाही. ओनस इज ऑन द पर्सन हु अगेंस्ट हुम द एक्यूजेशन इज मेड. सो जदि मु न करि परिबे ताहाले मते जेल हो. प्रथम कथा. द्वितीय कथा होची प्रिजम्पशन हबो जे पिलाटा ठीक कहिछि बोली. आ तृतीय कथा होची जे जते बेले ई ऑफेंस ट्रायल हबो सेटा कोर्ट रे ट्रायल हुए नुआ कोर्ट एबे हे जे प्रत्येक डिस्ट्रिक्ट रे गोटे कोर्ट डेजिग्नेट हे चाइल्ड कोर्ट. इट इज ए चाइल्ड कोर्ट. आ से कोर्ट स्पेशल कोर्ट ता पेंका नुआ एपीपी माने पीपी माने अपॉइंटमेंट हे चंदी स्पेशल पब्लिक प्रोसिक्यूटर्स भाबरे आ से माने केस को ट्रायल करंदी. और ट्रायल ता जनरल जेमती कोर्ट रे काठगोडा रे छिड़ाई हुए नॉट इन दैट वे. इट विल बी डन इन कैमरा. The law says camera means not on the video recording or that kind of camera. That means the door is closed. Child will give witness before the magistrate, the judge, and the accused. He will be standing outside with the door windows open with a screen so that he can hear what the child is saying. But child will not see the accused because they will be nervous. The law ta totally bhinna law. तेणु करी से अनुसार हमको जानिले हमें पिला हमको हेल्प करि परिबो. Types of abuse is one is physical abuse, one is sexual abuse, another is emotional abuse, and is neglect. So these are all, even neglect is also abuse, is an offense under this law. So my first advice will be Don't allow any children or advise all the children in your class or in your house or in your apartment. Warn them, warn your child also, never to sit on anyone's lap, no matter the situation, including your uncle. Very strict. From the childhood itself, we have to give warning to the children that, okay, you go everywhere, do everything, but don't sit on somebody's lap except your papa and mama or nobody else. Because this is what we need to teach the child right from the childhood. So also when you take classes in the school, also sometimes, we just give some tips of the safety of the children to this on this issue. Whenever a child goes to play with friends, make sure you look for a way to find out what kind of play they do. Because young people now sexually abuse themselves. Even friends among themselves, a friend will abuse sexually to another friend. They do not understand the gravity of this offense. So, here when the child goes out to play, make sure that what he is doing you can see. Mostly as apartment culture, children they go to the rooftop where the parents will not go many times, and they abuse themselves sexually between themselves, the same age group. And one such incident had happened. It's a illustration rather, I can say, that one small child, maybe it is class 5, the other one is the girl was of class 3. So they used to play in the rooftop, but one day they found the mobile is there, and they took the mobile and they opened the pornographic channel, and they started doing the same what they saw in that screen. And after that, the girl was very upset and not able to tell at home to anybody. And then somehow the girl was, she was depressed, and when she was talking to the teachers, she disclosed something. And after that, the teacher told the mother that this has happened. And the mother said, actually, I came to know something about it, not that this incident, another incident. And I told my husband that this is happening. Then the husband says, if I disclose this at home, they will say that you are breaking the family. You want to live separately. So this is how the children are being abused. Mothers are tight-lipped because of the social stigmas, special conditions. So we need to make the mothers also ready that, okay, you fight it out. May the teacher fight it out. There is a case when a bus driver used to go and drop the children. The last point, the boy was, it is not only the offense against a girl child, it is an offense against a boy child. Both genders are equally treated as a child in this law. Now the driver used to drop, then finally one day, the last point he was alone. So he said, well, I'll teach you how to drive, sitting in the lap slowly. And after 3-4 days, the child found himself very uncomfortable, very, very uncomfortable. Then he came and told mother that this is what the driver was doing. I'm not feeling well. And then the mother told the father. Then father said, okay, we'll have another. I will go and drop. I will not send in the bus. So I will not do, but don't report to the principal. The mother said, no, I can't afford to leave this matter like this. I have to go and talk to the principal. In spite of the father's objection, next day the mother went and told the principal, this thing has happened to my child. The principal inquired into the matter and immediately took action, and then suspended the driver and changed the driver, and then the child was free to go in the bus. That is what is required. You have to build confidence on the children that if somebody is reporting to you about sexual harassment, don't keep it close. Take it up and fight it out. That is why Section 19 and Section 21 has come under this POCSO Act, that anybody who knows this info, even the father and mother, and do not report to the police or SGPU or the CWC, they can be imprisoned and fined. The imprisonment can extend from 6 to 1 year. Not informing that. So here we must salute the mother who took that brave step and went to the police, went to the principal and fought this case. Now thereafter the child was so free. Anything happened, she used to come, or they used to come and tell to the mother that this has happened. I think It is a general knowledge for all of us that we should be bold enough to take up the cases of the children and fight it out, and especially have a glance on the young children, those who can be, sexually abused themselves when they are out of the sight of the adult. So parents are requested, please inform all your parents that have an eye on the children. And especially the new materials like, today these are in, in the Google, everything is there. So starting will be cartoon, but inside there will be so many bad things are there. So before you allow a child to see anything, any materials online or offline, please see yourself. If it is okay, then only you can allow the child to see. Never force a child to visit any adult he or she is not comfortable with. And also be observant if your child becomes too fond of a particular adult. Duita situation upon best have. ଯଦି ଗୋଟେ ପିଲା ବାରମ୍ବାର ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାକୁ ଯିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛି ସେଇଟା ବି ଆପଣ ଦେଖିବେ କାହିଁକି ଯିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛି ଯଦି ଗୋଟେ ପିଲା ଯିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁନି ତା ମଧ୍ୟ ଆପଣ ଦେଖିବାକୁ ଚାହିଁବେ କାହିଁକି ପିଲାଟି ଯିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁନି it so happened we stay in apartment, we stay in colonies, we used to exchange some food, okay, give this food to there or these cakes or sweets to there, and the child is second time, so I will not go to uncle is there, I will not go. There the point comes, the parents should not allow the child to go because they have to find out why the child is not willing to go to that quarter or apartment, because he is not comfortable with somebody. That means once he or she has been harassed sexually or physically, that is the reason she wants to avoid. But we sometimes say, we will go, this is our instruction, you go to avadhya hochu. No, you have to listen to the child, understand and slowly break. They will not directly explain because the situation is so complex. They are scared to tell against an adult. That is what I saw a small film also on that. And second thing, if the child, girl is or small child is interested to go to somebody's house, very often that is also it's not correct. Take no. Kahin na gote kon se chocolate do to game do to tapos tak slowly se trap kariyo to the sexual abuse. So this is the place where the parents and the teachers must instruct the child that they should be away from the adult, and also you should not push somebody, the child, to go forcefully or stop the children who is going to other's house regularly, very interested to go to that house. As I said earlier, once a very lively child suddenly becomes withdrawn, you may need to patiently ask lots of questions from the child. इतने सुंदर पिलाटा थिला, सडनली से एकदम चुप होई बसची आ किछि उत्तर दउनी, withdrawn पूरा सिचुएशन देरु, तेणु हमको पेशेंटली द क्वेश्चन पचारियक पड़िबो to find out कोन हेछि तो, what is the problem. Because only when child tinta jagare say he or she will withdraw from the normal situation, that is if he is or she is physically abused, mentally abused or sexually abused. So that is the question you must ask patiently and find out and address the issue. Carefully educate your grown-up about the right values of sex. If you do not, the society will teach them a wrong value. This is another area we don't talk about the sex, but we must teach about the values of sex. Now in foreign countries, sex education is a subject. In India also it has come now. Sex education with the NEP, it will be a part of our education. So what do's and don'ts of the sexual values must be taught very carefully to the children, that they are not trapped by the adults. Ensure your active parental control on the cable network and other services, or I will tell you the smartphone that you are holding, and even otherwise the other devices that is used to go to the internet and view anything they like. I have already said you that once a child complains about a particular complaint, do not keep quiet. It is our duty that we must find out and do something for them. Take up the case, show them you can defend them. Remember, you are either parents or parents to be. And remember, the pain lasts for lifetime. A child who sustains a mental, physical, or sexual abuse that become a scar in their mind. Even they become adult, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, they will remember that we have been sexually abused or physically abused, mentally abused. So it is a lifetime, pain for them. Many adult friends, they have shared their experiences in our conferences, how they were sexually abused uh, in their family or in their circle, and they were not able to take up. Today, would they thank God that today we have an act like POCSO Act, where we can use the system and to protect ourselves and our children. Every child deserves to grow up feeling safe and loved. When you get an unsafe touch, you must tell the children that when you get an unsafe touch, you may feel bad, confused, and helpless. You will not feel bad because it is not your fault. Sometimes the children feel it is their fault. Somehow they have become victim. But this law says that a child, except the child in conflict of law, means 15 years to 18 years, all children, they will be, for them, even if they do some kind of sexual harassment, sexual indulgence with other friends, they are punished. But for them, there is a reformatory juvenile centers where they can be taught how to correct themselves. So here I would like to show a small screen, then I'll go to the technical part of this session. Screening a small film.
This is Selvi. She loves butterflies and her pet cat Meow, even though she's naughty at times. But more than anything in this world, Selvi loves her parents. She likes to be hugged
It's not coming, no? Mhm.
It was coming, sir. It was coming, sir. The audio was coming with the video.
This is Selvi. She loves butterflies and her pet cat Meow, even though she's naughty at times. But more than anything in this world, Selvi loves her parents. She likes to be hugged and kissed by Amma and Appa because it is so sweet. Yes, they do scold her for being mischievous sometimes. This is Selvi. She loves butterflies and her pet cat Meow, even though she's naughty at times. But more than anything in this world, Selvi loves her parents. She likes to be hugged and kissed by Amma and Appa because it is so sweet. Yes, they do scold her for being mischievous sometimes, but it is for her own good, right? It is vacation time and Selvi is excited because she is going to stay with her granny in the village. At Granny's place, she meets Granny's new help, Raju uncle. Raju uncle is very funny and he knows many tricks. Even Granny laughs at his jokes. Selvi is happy. She got a new playmate and so is Granny. One day, Granny is away at the doctor's and Raju uncle tells her they can play the blindfold game. He covers her eyes with a ribbon and hides behind the curtain. But Selvi is smart. She finds out where the uncle is hiding. After that, Raju started touching her and it felt bad. And she was not able to make out what Raju uncle did. But she could feel it was wrong. And this made her scared and sad. As soon as Granny comes, she explains everything to her and starts crying. Selvi's Appa comes to know about it. He becomes enraged. I am not going to leave that rascal. I am calling the police.
We shouldn't do that. Let's call my friend Yamuna. She works in a child welfare agency.
Yamuna auntie comes in and tells Selvi that whatever happened to her is not her fault at all and that Raju will be punished for hurting her. Auntie takes Selvi to her clinic where they meet Yamuna auntie's son Ram.
Kids, it is important that you should know about your body. There are some personal zones in our body that we should not let others touch. They are chest, bottom, lips, and the part between the legs. Of course, parents can touch those parts when they bath the kids. Also, a doctor can examine those parts in your body, but only in the presence of your parents. If people try to touch you in your personal zone unnecessarily, it's called a bad touch. Kids, do you know what you should do when someone touches your personal zone in a bad way?
We should shout no.
Very good. And
We should run away.
yeah, we should shout as loud as possible and run away to a safer adult whom you trust. And you should immediately tell the person what happened to you. Who is a safer adult? A safer adult can be your parents, grandparents, or even your teacher whom you know very well and will help you when you are in trouble. Do you understand?
Yes.
Then tell me about your personal zones in your body.
Chest, bottom, lips, and the part between the legs.
Very good.
Yamuna auntie drops Selvi at her home. She tells her parents that Selvi knows about bad touch now and that if someone behaves badly, she will immediately inform them. And Selvi's parents also promise that if Selvi reports any such incidents, they will take it seriously.
As I said, the Protection of Children from Sexual Offence Act has few silent features. One is it is the new offences. As I said, special courts are already there and special public prosecutors are appointed for this. So to repeat, it has got new offences and special courts, that is called child courts, are there in every district in the countries of India. Special public prosecutors are appointed for the child right offences under POCSO. Mandatory reporting is must in this case. Punishment for false reporting and special procedure, recording of complaint, statement and evidence in a closed door in camera. The entire process of child right violation has to be monitored by National Child Protection Commission or State Child Right Protection under the JJ Act. Similarly, District Child Welfare Committee and the DCP or District Child Protection Officers are also competent to do monitoring of the child right and child protection in their respective districts. In case there is a child right violation, the child will be given compensation, the parent will be given compensation as per the law. Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act addresses crimes and sexual abuse and sexual exploitation of the children. The Act prescribes 6 special offences against the children, 5 in fact offences, and 1 is for the pornographic purpose, if it is total 6. Penetrative sexual assault, aggravated penetrative sexual assault, aggravated sexual assault, sexual harassment using a child for pornographic purpose. These are the basic 6 offences for which punishment has been entered. So now, what is a penetrative sexual assault? Penetrative sexual assault is basically if there is a sexual assault through penetration. Usually earlier we were knowing that rape is a penetrative sexual assault. But today the POCSO Act has defined penetrative sexual assault is more than rape. It is not only the rape, any object that is passed into the vagina or the anus or the mouth of the child will also amount to penetrative sexual assault. So object may be a finger, object may be a pen, object may be any pencil or any utensils, and if the child feels bad about it or putting the the genital part in the mouth of the child, all amount to penetrative sexual assault. Rape sangere saman ya kariva dwara. There was a case I have come across, of course. It is under investigation, not supposed to disclose. It's supposed to be a false case to my knowledge, but there has been a allegation and they are on bail now. It is against a child, against a teacher. In fact, some parents have complained that the lady teacher has pushed the finger inside the vagina of a girl. And there was some mark. So the case has not yet been book-proof and it was supposed to be not a correct case, but it's still investigation going on. So this has happened in private tuition. Another case has happened in private tuition also. Just before the act came, there was an allegation not proved again that a gents teacher asked a child to stay back, boy child, and then there was something in the anus the child parents reported, and the action has already been taken. But it was prior to the 2012, so accordingly the service was dismissed and the case was closed. So these are the very careful when you take. It's not only for male, the female child or a female teacher also. Female teacher can be accused of this. Don't touch a child. The simple line is don't touch a child. Number one. Second thing, what is aggravated penetrative sexual assault? If you say about the penetrative sexual assault, the punishment is 7 years and more. If it is aggravated penetrative sexual assault, means anybody who is in charge of a child, maybe a teacher, maybe a nurse, maybe a doctor, maybe a warden of a hostel, maybe police, maybe the jailer, whoever, in whatever capacity in the hostel, if he or she commits the same mistake on a child, it will be known as aggravated penetrative sexual assault. The punishment is 3 years more than the previous one, the penetrative sexual assault. This will be explained to you after me by Advocate Premraj. Next is the sexual assault. What is sexual assault? Which does not include penetration. Simple touching the body is a sexual assault. What is aggravated sexual assault? Aggravated sexual assault is if a teacher or a doctor, a nurse, or a jailer, or any hostel warden commits the same sexual assault without penetration, it will be known as aggravated sexual penetrative assault. The punishment is more in the aggravated sexual assault. That will be explained to you later. And the sexual harassment is, it is not touch. There is no touch, but there is a harassment. Following a child, showing a bad movie to child, showing the photograph, wrong photograph to the sexual photograph to the child, or talking to child in a colorable position. All this follows sexual harassment, where there is no touch. There is no touch. The first two parties, there is a penetration. Sexual, then second part, 3 and 4 is having a touch, and 4, a strict one, is sexual harassment. That is without touch, any action, that I will tell you in details later. And using a child for pornography purpose, also a offense where the punishment can be 6 years to 10 years. Especially if it is done along with the penetrative sexual assault or sexual assault, then in these two cases, this will be 3 years more than the punishment. Together it will be enforced on that. So here I would like to explain sexual assault definition is whoever with sexual intent touches, T is missed out here, touches the vagina, penis, anus or breast of the child, or makes a child to touch the vagina, penis, anus or breast of such person or any other person, or does any other act with sexual intent which involves physical contact without penetration is said to commit sexual assault. So there needs to be a touch. And if you are reading the newspaper carefully, you must have read a case similar on the POCSO, Bombay High Court, and the lady judge has given a verdict which was deprecated by the Supreme Court, and her confirmation was stopped. There was a case where the accused has touched the breast of the child, girl child. So here, after the trial was over, this matter was before the Honorable High Court of Bombay. Lady judge was there, and she, according to her finding, she said that since the man has not taken out the clothes and directly not touched the breast, so it will not be sexual harassment, sexual assault. it will be a sexual harassment under section 11. And accordingly, the punishment, 3 years punishment was given, and that person was later on acquitted. So taking this order into cognizance, immediately entire India was shouting, the lawyers, the judges, and finally the Supreme Court, after hearing this case, reverted the judgment. It was set aside, the judgment was set aside, and it has described that whether it is touching the breast over the cloth or inside the cloth, it is a touch. So definition top is not there. There has to be no. The lady judge says there was no direct touch. There was a cloth in between. So sexual assault will not come. It will be sexual harassment. So finally, the promotion for the High Court judge, lady judge, was supposed to be confirmed. That was stopped by the Home Ministry on the recommendation of the Supreme Court Chief Justice. So this is a very, even a judge is not spared when the judgments are delivered against a child in not wrongly interpreted. So what is sexual assault is there has to be a touch. So it's not that putting the finger inside the vagina or even touches the vagina outside with the pants or the skirts or whatever, or the anus or any private part, that amount to physical contact, that is without penetration. I will just, before that, I want to repeat from the exact language of the law. Penetrative sexual assault means when a male person penetrates either his penis or any object or any part of his body, or does something to either penetrates into the private parts of a child, or when he applies his mouth to the private part of a child, or makes the child to do so, either to him or to another person. So this is called penetrative sexual assault. An offence is treated as aggravated penetrative sexual assault when penetration is committed by a person in position of trust or authority of a child, such as member of the security forces, police officers, public management staff, hospital staff, hospital or any place of custody or care and protection. Long list is here. I don't want to read. You just Google and find out the long list. And the punishment part will be dealt with, my friend, thereafter. What is sexual harassment? A person who is said to commit sexual harassment upon a child when such person with sexual intent utters any word or makes any sound or makes any gesture or exhibit any part, any object or part of body with an intention that such word or sound shall be heard, or such gesture or object or part of the body shall be seen by the child, makes the child exhibit his body or any part of his body, or so it is seen in such person or any other person. So any object to child in any form or media pornography. So I think here again, whether we show or we ask the child to show his private part or any objectionable thing of the private part, then this will also known as the sexual harassment, and for that punishment is 3 years. Details will be told. So we understand from that we have now basically 5 punishment that we have gone through. I will give you an example of a school because it will be more appropriate. In one school, there were 2 family members were there, relation, their 2 children were studying. The girl was studying in maybe class 3, 2, and the boy was studying 1 year above, means 4 or 5. So what happened when the girl came to class 9? She told the parent that my cousin brother actually had sexual penetration with me when I was a child 7 years back. So this was informed to the CWC, DCPO, then it matter came to the police station. And by the time the incident was registered as a case, the boy was studying in a college and he was arrested. Here I would like to inform you that the cognizance, period of cognizance, any offense in the criminal jurisprudence is the punishment period is the period of limitation filing the complaint. Suppose a child has not filed a case when the incident has occurred. If the penetration sex punishment is life, so throughout the life, anytime the child can also complain this issue. This matter was again referred to the court and it is under again trial. But here I would like to inform you that it's not necessary a child will tell immediately. It can be said later also. Case may be correct, case may be wrong. But what is necessary that the allegations once comes, and if the child who committed the offense is below 15 years at the time of commission of offense, then the punishment is different. If the child who committed the offense in the age of the conflict of age in law, so that time the punishment is little higher. So these are the provisions. So things which has happened today with an adult, if I don't inform this, then okay, the case may not be registered. Suppose I took your pen or took your mobile, I've stolen your mobile, and if you don't report within 3 years, this case cannot be registered because the time limitation is 3 years, punishment is 3 years. But here in case of the child, any offense, basically all offenses are more than 3 years. So even some are in life when there is question of penetrative sexual assault. So child can report anytime. And more cases are coming up in different parts of the country. Young students have been given the mobile for online education, online teaching, online classes. And then they become friends. And then they started sending them the WhatsApp. Then they start, next step is sending the private parts in the WhatsApp. And when their friendship breaks sometimes or something happens, so they are arrested or legal action is taken. So one need to be very, very careful about your child. You know your child is very good. You're given a mobile phone, but see how he is using, what he's sending, who are in the WhatsApp group. Now, not only WhatsApp, there are so many social media, Instagram, Telegram, and so on. So parents have to be very careful because one day night, if you don't control, one day night, the police will come and just say, okay, you are arrested. Your son is arrested. We are taking to juvenile home. We're taking to police station. We're taking to the CWC and for the investigation. The here point is that the offense that is happening by the children are rampant now after the COVID-19. They are confined to room and they don't sleep in the night and they use this cell phone for different other purposes because the parents are not with them. Parents are so busy during these days. People thought they are working from home. Working from home is so tense and so much tedious that even they are not able to give time to the children. Taking advantage of the busyness of the parent, the children do so mischief, especially this kind of mischief which comes within the purview of POCSO Act. There is no other option, they will be arrested. How high officer you are, high position you are, immaterial, arrest is must. Nobody can give you the relaxation in that. So have a good parental control of your children, on your children. Please educate your parents. When you have parents meeting, please talk to them on this. Maybe some slides. That's why I thought of showing some films which will give you some education. What is more necessary than the law is to know, making awareness to the parents, making awareness to the teachers communities, making awareness to the children to how they will keep themselves stay from this kind of harassment, sexual harassment. That is the whole concept of this law. Unfortunately, 12 years, 2012, the law has come ए पर्यंत प्रत्येक स्कूल रे पिला माने जानि नांती कि पेरेंट्स माने जानि नांती कि आमंतर टीचर माने मध्ये ठीक रे जानि अनेक कोर्स हेछि अनेक सेमिनार हेछि बट आई थिंक इट इज टू लेट नाउ जितले स्कूल स्टार्ट होछि वर्तमान you will be finding many cases of POCSO. Many people will be arrested, many people will be put into trial. This kind of complex situation is going to come as the school opens. बहुत किछि कथा बाहरिबो जोटा 2 वर्ष तळे घटला 2 वर्ष तळे घटला all this report when it comes to your knowledge don't keep quiet. As I said, when it comes to your knowledge under section 19, it is the duty of the person who comes to know first about the incident. Within 24 hours, it is our duty to inform the SJPU, Special Juvenile Police Unit, or the local police station, or to the DCPO, District Child Protection Officer, or to the child line. So very easy to remember the child line number, 1098 1098. Just dial, it is a toll-free number, 1098 1098. So they immediately child line comes and do whatever they necessary to rescue the child and coordinate with the DCPO, CWC, and the police so that the child gets his justice and the kind of sexual harassment, sexual abuse, and physical abuse also is prevented in the community. So Childline is working its best. They have so many staff, so many units. So remember, just in a tip, 1098 is the number. As soon as they get in informed, please inform the principal, the teacher, the parent, inform the Childline, also inform the police station about this matter. Otherwise, if you don't inform, again, we are accused under section 21 for not informing the police authorities. He would like to again show you a small bear with me, something problem, but I will show you. Something. Just a minute, the audio is going somehow. Just bear 1 minute, I will show you. If you have any question, you can ask me by the time I screen it. You can unmute and ask me some question if you have for clarification. जेकोसी भाषा रे पचारि परिबे ओडिया हिंदी इंग्लिश नो प्रॉब्लम. Be comfortable. You can unmute and ask question.
Sir, good evening, sir. I'm Pratinidhi Bardhan here from Gajapati,
Yes.
Happy Child of India.
Yes.
So you are speaking about good touch and bad touch. So is there anything like that, like good touch is there or bad touch is there? Because you spoke only about bad touch. Is really good touch? Because when we meet with children, we have affection. We like to touch them, and when we go to the field area, also children comes and they touch our feet. So in that case, how we are going to manage it? Thank you.
No, see, good touch and bad touch. Already, that's why I shown the film to you to show what is good. Another also I'll show you. The question is, touching your feet is not a bad touch. You are not touching; they're touching your feet. But if you put your hand on their neck or on the back anywhere, then it becomes a bad touch. And sometimes with affectionate, kind of with love and affection, we used to just hug the child. Pitre hath poke daba, there hath poke daba, embrace kariba. Screen say it up. I'll show you as yes. Just it has been just carefully observe your question answer.
Hi, I'm Darius. If somebody touches you on a private body part, you might feel confused, scared, or embarrassed. Talking about it is probably the last thing you want to do. But if you keep it a secret, it won't stop. We got a new coach for the city basketball team this year. He was really nice and everyone on the team liked him. He'd give us advice after practice and teach us new plays. But he spent a lot of time with my friend Jamal. Jamal was Coach's favorite, and I was a little jealous. But Coach was always touching Jamal. Coach even bought him a new pair of shoes. Sometimes Jamal would go into Coach's office after practice. I thought it was weird, but Jamal never talked about it. So I didn't think of it again. Then one day, Coach called me into his office. I thought I was finally going to start a game. But then he told me to take my shirt off. I didn't want to. He said he was going to help me be a better athlete, and that if I didn't do it, he would take me off the team. I told him no, and ran out. No one should ever ask you to take your clothes off, or try to touch your private parts. Coach scared me, but I'm glad I knew to run away. Was this what he was doing with Jamal? I found Jamal waiting for his mom. It was hard, but I asked if Coach had done anything weird with him. He said no, but I know it wasn't true. I told him what happened, that Coach got me alone and wanted me to take my clothes off. I asked if that was what happened to him when he went to Coach's office. I wanted both of us to tell someone, but Jamal didn't want to. I asked him if he had promised Coach that he would keep it a secret. He told me Coach gave him those new shoes to keep him from telling. He was scared, but I told him we couldn't keep it a secret, or it would keep happening. Finally, he agreed to go with me to tell. His mom got there, and we told her everything. It was over after that. We had to talk to more people, but Coach was gone, and nobody else got hurt.
This was a very rare and scary situation, Darius, but you handled it perfectly. You reacted to what your coach tried to do by telling him to stop and by running away.
It was hard because everyone liked Coach. He was our friend, and we trusted him.
Unfortunately, things like this have happened. It doesn't mean you shouldn't trust your teachers or coaches.
Right. Just remember that if something like this does happen to you, say no, run away, and tell. Never keep it a secret. It wasn't easy, but I'm glad I was able to talk about it. For me, Jamal, and the rest of the team.
Okay, now you can ask me some questions.
Yeah, excuse me, sir. Sir, good evening.
Good evening.
Sir, this is Bimal Mishra from Stuart School, Bhubaneswar.
Yes.
Can I put a question to you?
Sure.
Sir, right now you are discussing a lot of things, and just one question comes to my mind. Suppose it's an occasion, let's say Teachers' Day, and two students from two different gender, they come to wish the teacher on the occasion of Teachers' Day. One is a boy and one is a girl. So the boy shakes the hands of the teacher, wishing him happy Teachers' Day. Right. At that very instant, if the girl does so, should a teacher shake the hand or not? And if the teacher is not doing the same, then will it not lead to gender discrimination?
Probably you joined late or did not hear me. In the beginning, I said, this is a law. It is for both. It is not only girl child. Even a boy child also, offense against a boy child also, it will be POCSO. Not gender biased. Even if the boy child, I'll tell you, when you shake hand, it is good, there is no bad thing in that. But when you shake hand and give a different touch in the handshake, and the other side the child get an impulse that it is not a good touch. You know, the child, they know best what is good and what is bad. So in good reason or with good intention, whether it is a girl child or a boy child, it is no difference. Even a shake hand with a boy child, if he feels that it is not good, then also it is POCSO, not gender bias.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So we should be very careful. Even I tell you, the COVID-19 has taught us safe distance. So I think POCSO is also telling us the same, that keep a safe distance. 3 feet, 1 yard or whatever the distance, that is good.
Just to add, sir, actually, when I had asked the head of the child safety in Tamil Nadu, when I had gone there and I was telling we are teaching good touch and bad touch, she shouted at me and told me, no good touch, bad touch, no touch, she said.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
So she said, say, absolutely no touch. There is no question of teaching good touch and bad touch. You tell them no touch. That is the thing you have to teach. So after that, we are also advocating that only in our projects also, telling that completely have no touch.
You are absolutely right, sir, because you do not know what time the other side will think it is a bad touch. The same good touch can be presumed as bad touch. So why to take a risk? Because if it is a bad touch, then you are 3 years inside, non-believable. So it is better not to get COVID. No? Keep a step distance. Don't put handshake. COVID period, nobody was doing handshake, all with namaskar. So I think let us go to same condition. Hi, hello, and also the tongue should be also not slipped out. Again, that will be sexual harassment, 3 years. While dealing with the children, we should be very, 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 very careful. Now, my question is, there are 2,000 students in your school, sir. So if all student will come and shake hand with you, how many sanitary, that disinfection, what is called sanitizer? You need daily 2-3 bottles sanitizer after each handshake. So let us avoid on Teachers' Day or whatever day.
Good evening, sir. Sir, I just wanted to, it's something really nice that has come up, because now that we are planning for our small kids to come back to school, and especially, and I'm sure all the lady teachers are the ones who are, the class teachers of these junior classes, the primary classes. So, sir, because out of affection, after seeing the child, seeing the children after so many months or maybe years, it's quite obvious, like we'll try to hold the child or hug the child. I think whether it's a girl child or boy child, we should resist our expressions and affection, because by this time, I think even the children are quite smart and they know what is a good touch and a bad touch. By chance also, if a child goes and complains to the parent, I think it's going to be very embarrassing for us. I think we need to resist our affection for them and not to show them. Thank you, sir.
Already Mr. Edwin has said, no good touch, no bad touch, no touch.
Yes, sir.
There is no touch. Second thing, don't forget that there is a fourth wave danger expected to come. Absolutely. So if you more do close to the children or any staff, you are expected that again you will be increasing the risk of the fourth wave. So it is, let us respect Corona protocol and keep distance for some time, and respect the POCSO protocol and have always a safe distance from the children.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Please tell me.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to say something.
Yes.
We cannot actually justify any particular kind of touch. So if a touch is, even sometimes there is nothing in our mind towards any. But if the other person feels bad about it, then it's very difficult for us to justify our touch. So it's better for us to keep a distance without having any touch. So that's what I feel about it.
Very correct. And I will give a small general illustration, because how the matter is interpreted. Beside the Ganga river, usually the pious people, the sadhus, used to go and take bath early in the morning. One sadhu early in the morning, 4 o'clock, was taking a bath, and then when he come out of the water, he saw other side of the Ganga. So another person coming out before him. So he thought that probably he is more righteous than him, big sadhu. So, but that fellow was not a sadhu, he was a thief. Actually, police was chasing him. He jumped into a river and escaped himself. He was looking whether the police jeep has gone that area or not. When he came out, he saw the other side. He found that the another person in the river is coming out. He said he may be more bigger thief than me. So, it's the perspective how you look. So, let us not do, maybe the other, you may be good, but the other side may not be good. Children, they are more educated and more aware than us today by online education and online going through different medias and all. We do not know many things they know. Even my granddaughter is a small one. She knows more things and teaches me many things. So what I suggest here that it is always to have a safe distance. And as it was in the first film I shared, shown you, that tell the child what is the private part. This is my private upper part, bottom part, mouth. These are the parties nobody should touch. Very simple. It should be repeated by the teachers in the school. Please exercise this with the parents also. Tell them this is the story, life story will come. By the time they get the instance, child is lost. A scar will be there for all time to come the child. So it's very, very important that we should teach what is good touch, what is bad touch. Good touch is by parents, grandparents, and mother. And normal touch by doctor in presence of parents. Bad touch is by somebody other than this group. This is what I can tell you. Please remember that today you have done something. You thought nobody has seen me or nothing has happened this time. But if the child reports after 7 years, 6 years, 4 years, whatever, you will be arrested. The limitation for filing the offense, that information, FIR, is like the period of the offense it lasts. And here, the child is not going to describe whether there is a rape, there is some blood here, there is some injury, nothing is required. Once a child tells, it is presumed that she is innocent and she has said it correctly. Now, the rebuttal will come on you. You have to defend yourself. I have to defend myself. I have not done it. And especially my warning to the teachers who are doing the private tuition at home. It is very, very risky, I'm telling you. This allegation will come. You will lose your job. You will be behind the bar. One simple child gives a complaint. Many times when this complaint comes, the teachers say, okay, I have not given the right mark, and they were claiming parents were asking more marks. So they are trying to fix us in this. No. Why private tuition? Teach online. Safe teaching is do the private tuition. I'm not telling you do. If you are doing, do it in an online system. So you are not by the, you will not be attracted by POCSO. And don't exhibit in the online also anything with the child will feel bad. Again, that will also sexual harassment under section 11. My friend is going to tell you about that. Yes, anything else? Under 7 minutes, you can ask me. Thereafter, next session.
So just one more question. We have seen in most of these cases with regard to school cases amongst the children for corporal punishment and all those kind of things. Sometimes things do not happen according to the way they appear. So sometimes the teacher or the person who is accused of this thing may be innocent, sir. In that case, sir, does the court of law or whoever's giving the judgment, sir, do they have a special feeling for the child? I mean, whatever the child says, that is true, and the opposite party is at fault. Because we've seen in most of these child-related cases, sir, the law is more towards the child rather than the person doing something against the child.
Sir, actually, I am now dealing with POCSO, and there are offences committed under the JJ Act. My friend will tell you now. Also, under the Right to Education Act, there is physical punishment, I'll say corporal punishment. So these are all different things. If it is a corporal punishment or some offences under JJ Act, it can be a departmental proceeding. And also under 323 of Indian Penal Code, if somebody has hit a child like any other adult.
No, sir. Suppose if the case is related to sexual harassment,
Sexual
sometimes
harassment means it will be, it is for the children. It will be innocence will be, children are innocent. That is what the presence. But one case I'll tell you, in one of my friend who was making a trial on this POCSO case, and this was a false case, rather, and he was acquitted. Rather, he said his client, he has not committed any sexual offense.
yes, sir.
And they were the tenant, those who filed there. So there was a quarrel for the enhancement of the house rent. And then probably the child was used as a tool to harass that person. And the child said that uncle came and did this, and then so and so person have sinned. So my friend, while was trying this trial, asked the child, when this time the incident occurred, he said 11 o'clock. And what was the position? The doors were open? No, closed. Windows were closed. And how this children, the witnesses saw this 2-3 person name say they have seen. If the doors are closed, see the judge believed. In that case, judge will believe that it is not a correct thing. So if it is a truth, definitely you are going to get the justice. I'm telling you, even the prosecution in defense, prosecution and defense when they fight, the defense will take out the truth from the mouth of the prosecution, what is correct. So if you're truthful and you have not done, I don't think the judge will be against you. Judge will be always impartial, but only leaning on the child because the child and may not be able to tell. But if the entire scenario is planned and cooked up to fix somebody, then definitely there is no judge in the judicial system. The eyes are closed. Judges don't see the person. They go by the document and evidence.
Sir, if you permit, I would like to share something.
Please.
A teacher in my school, actually, he had an operation. He had a surgery, and he was in the hospital. The problem was actually he didn't have anybody in his family who could go with him, to stay at the hospital. So he had a distant relative, from his wife's side, who was there in the hospital to take care of him. And what happened after the surgery, he was unconscious, for several hours. And his wallet and the mobile phone was with the person who was taking care of him in the hospital. He actually that attendant was not at all a trustworthy person, actually. And what happened? He used his mobile phone, and he did some mischievous chatting with a girl of his school, of our school, of 9th standard, and all the evidences was there. And this guy who had the surgery actually completely innocent. Just because the other person was attending, he did all chatting, mischievous chatting and all with that girl, and that girl kept all the screenshot, and he produced before the court of law. He filed a case, and this guy who had the surgery and he didn't even know what had happened, he had to be removed from the school because that girl had complained against him. He came to know about it when everything came in the news. So this is what.
Thank you for actually your audio was not so clear. But before I end this session, first part, there are 3 minutes, and I'll tell you very good example, 1 or 2 teachers, how they should be careful. During the sports period or during the annual sports, if a child is falling down or a girl child is falling down, having some injuries in the knees, gents teachers basically, should keep for girls teachers, lady teachers should be there. So don't apply the balm by a gent teacher, let it be applied by the lady teacher, because 1 or 2 cases, the allegations have come, The gent teachers, while applying the balm on the knees, put beyond the thighs, and then there is the allegation against the teacher. So what is needed is that if there is an injury of a boy child, okay, you can do it, no problem. But keep the standby ready when you are physically touching a girl child. Don't touch yourself. Use the school staff nurse or a lady teacher or a first aider to do that thing. And suppose a child is fallen unconscious, and there are 2-3 staffs are there, and the lady teachers and also gent teachers are there. So if you are a gent teacher, go to the leg side, put both the legs, and let the lady teachers in the upper side, then evacuate the body. So that way there is less possibility of allegation. But if you there on the neck and the chest, hold the baby child or the girl, there are allegations maybe later on that you have done this. So your position is also very important when you're helping others, protecting yourself not to fall within the four walls of the POCSO Act. If you have any other question, the last question you can ask from this, then we'll proceed to the next. My sincere advice is, since the school is going to reopen, protect yourself. POCSO is to protect the children, and your behavior will protect you. Just a very humble request to you, because bad days are coming, and we should not get ourselves involved in this kind of thing. Thank you very much. And now I will be handing over this session to my friend Premraj, Advocate Premraj Goda. He will be telling you the punishment part. I basically tossed the skeletal part of the offense. He will be dealing other part of the 3 laws. So I welcome him, sir, to
विष्णु वो कौन आप देगी
somebody 2 devices is nearby. Kindly, 2 devices are nearby. Stop phone. So I take leave now. I hand over this session to Mr. Premraj Goda, who will be dealing with the punishment for child right violation. Mr. Goda, please come.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, for giving this chance to me. And many of the parts already, sir, has been covered. And I am going to share. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Most of the part already sir has been covered, and I'm going to share about the punishment for the child. Sir, as sir already said about the abuse about the children's. So
Kindly unmute. Kindly unmute.
physical abuse, I'm saying the physical abuse, according to that Juvenile Justice Act 2015, that external injuries like rupture of eardrums and contusion of head and black eyes, wounds, cut braces, and fractures and corporal punishment, hard labor, kicking, slapping, and twisting ears, and caning, sit-ups, and kneeling and hair pullings. As per Section 75, the punishment of cruelty to child is imprisonment for term which may extend to 3 years and with fine and 1 lakh rupees punishment. ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ କୌଣସି ଇନଷ୍ଟିଟ୍ୟୁସନରେ ହଉ ଯେକୌଣସି ଜାଗାରେ ହଉ କି ଚିଲଡ୍ରେନ୍ସ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ଯଦି ଆମେ କେତେବେଳେ ମଧ୍ୟ ଯଦି ଫିଜିକାଲ ଏବ୍ୟୁଜ ର କୌଣସି ପ୍ରକାର ରିପୋର୍ଟ ଆସେ ତାହେଲେ ସେ ଏକ୍ୟୁଜ ପର୍ସନ୍ସ କୁ as per section 75 punishment for cruelty ପାଇଁ 3 years and with fines and 1 lakh rupees punishment by provisions ଅଛି. As per section 79 exploitation of child, rigorous imprisonment for the terms which may extend to 5 years and shall also be liable to fine or 1 lakh rupees. ଯେତେବେଳେ जो କୌଣସି ଚିଲଡ୍ରେନ୍ସ କୁ ଯଦି ଏକ୍ସପ୍ଲୋଇଟେସନ କରାଯିବ କୌଣସି ଏମ୍ପ୍ଲୟି ଦ୍ୱାରା ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାରେ ଗୋଟେ ଇନଷ୍ଟିଟ୍ୟୁସନରେ କାମ କରୁଛନ୍ତି କୌଣସି ଜାଗାରେ କାମ କରୁଥିଲା ବେଳକୁ ଯଦି ସେ ଜାଗାରେ ସେ ଲୋକ ଚିଲଡ୍ରେନ୍ସ କୁ ଏକ୍ସପ୍ଲୋଇଟେସନ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ସ୍କୁଲରେ ହଉ କୌଣସି ଜାଗାରେ ହଉ ଇନଷ୍ଟିଟ୍ୟୁସନରେ ହଉ କୌଣସି ସ୍ପୋର୍ଟସ ଏକାଡେମୀରେ ହଉ ସେତେବେଳକୁ ସେ ଏକ୍ସପ୍ଲୋଇଟେସନ ପାଇଁ ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ ରିଗୋରିୟସ୍ ଇମ୍ପ୍ଲିମେଣ୍ଟେସନ ଟର୍ମ which is extend to 5 years ତା ସଙ୍ଗେ ସଙ୍ଗେ 1 lakh rupees penalty ଅଛି. Next, section 82 of JJ Act 2015, corporal punishment. Corporal punishment ପାଇଁ ଅଛି imprisonment which may extend to months or fine or with both. Corporal punishment ମାନେ ଯେତେବେଳେ କୌଣସି ଲୋକ କୌଣସି ଛାତ୍ରକୁ ବା କୌଣସି ଲୋକଙ୍କୁ କୌଣସି ଚିଲଡ୍ରେନ୍ସ କୁ ବାଡାଇ ଥାଏ ଆଉ କୌଣସି ପ୍ରକାର ଫିଜିକାଲ ଏବ୍ୟୁଜ କରିଥାଏ ସେତେବେଳକୁ ସେ corporal punishment ଦେଇଥାଏ ତାକୁ ସେ punishment ଟା ମିଳିଥାଏ. Liable for dismissal of service ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ସପୋଜ ଗୋଟେ ସ୍କୁଲରେ କୌଣସି ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ କୁ ଯଦି କୌଣସି ଟିଚର କୌଣସି ପ୍ରକାର ଏମିତି ମାରିଥାନ୍ତି କାନରେ କୌଣସି ପ୍ରକାର ରପ୍ଚର ଅଫ ଡ୍ରମ୍ସ ବା କୌଣସି କାନକୁ ଧରିକି ମୋଡିଥାନ୍ତି କିକିଂ ସ୍ଲାପିଂ ଟ୍ୱିଷ୍ଟିଂ କୌଣସି ପ୍ରକାର ଏମିତି ଗୋଟେ ଯଦି ୟୁଜ କରିଥାନ୍ତି ତାହେଲେ there is a provisions to dismiss that by the service rule of that institutions direct to that teachers or that employee also. That is the provisions in these sections. Our next section subsection 3 third report holds imprisonment for terms not less than 3 years and shall be liable to fine with the extent 1 lakh rupees. That is the provision there in section 82. The provision for physical punishment and mental harassment to the child. RTA, the Right to Education Act 2019 provision ଅଛି ସେଜାର ଲେଖା ଅଛି no child shall be subjected to physical punishment and mental harassment. That is section 17 says clearly mentioned that no child shall be subjected to physical punishment and mental harassment. कौन प्रकार physical harassment punishment देई होने mental harassment मध्य children को करी होने कौन प्रकार. Whoever contravenes the provisions of subsection 1 shall be liable to disciplinary actions under the service rule applicable to such persons. से institution जो कौन प्रकार disciplinary actions मान disciplinary rule कोई थी से जगह से स्कूल रे बा से कौन इंस्टीट्यूशन रे बा कौन स्पोर्ट एकेडमी रे हो जे कौन जगह से चिल्ड्रंस कौन जगह रे थिबे से जगह से सब डिसिप्लिनरी एक्शंस से जगह से सेक्शन अनुसार निया जेबो that will be dismissal also. List of offenses of punishment. ये सेक्शन टा होची POCSO Act रे the protection of child for the sexual offense 2000 year, and after that, that has been amended in 2019 also, some sections, and the punishment. I will share you that later. Slowly, I'm one by one, and just I'm going there. The sir already elaborated a lot of things there in that previous session. I'm a little bit sharing about that punishment part. The penetrative sexual assault section already that mentions section 4 is there. So in the POCSO for section 4 is there, that is section 4. So minimum punishment is 7 years and life imprisonment and fine also. Whenever someone is penetrating with his private part to the victim's private part, and sometimes with the object also, and sometimes with finger, and however, that is, if that person is penetrated to the child, then that has been that person has been punished by minimum 7 years and life imprisonment and is fine also. Fine also. After that section, that's aggravated penetrative sexual assault. Sir already said about this aggravated penetrations. That has been whenever the person is aggravated penetrative sexual assault, a person will doing that one, that offense is doing that, and that the criminal offense is doing. Then this when 7 years, that has been double. That will be 10 years, and after that rigorous imprisonments also. Rigorous imprisonments. And the person who is going in imprisonment, and he has to work hard, and sometimes he will not really doing anything in the jails. They will put a very hard work inside of it. Life imprisonment and the punishment also is included there. Sexual assault, how already that has been explained. Sexual assault means that has been not touched actually directly. That has been not touched to any person. That things has been, yeah. Sexual assault means not touch, but there sometimes that convey to the teachers or whoever in that authority, these people when they will do offense to the children's, then they will get punishment 3 years, and after that maximum that has been 5 years, and the punishment also. That fourth number is aggravated sexual assault. That has been coming under POCSO, under section 9 and section 10. Offense of sexual assault, if committed by any person in position, power, and authority, and in certain circumstances, if that any person in positions and will do sexual assault to the child, then he will be imprisoned not less than 5 years, but which may extend to 7 years also, and shall also be liable to fine. And number 5, sexual harassment. About the harassment already sir touched that the person will that accused persons not touch with that child, or whenever they wanted to stop, and sometimes she's sending some messages, vulgar messages, and sometimes harass the child like that. Many things is coming under here. Sometimes he's telling to the child, make a child exhibit his body, and shows any object to the child, and any form of the media on pornography things. So that has coming under this section 11 and 12. That punishment is here imprisonment, which may extend to 3 years, and shall also be liable to fine. Section 14, punishment for using child for pornographic purposes. Whoever uses a child or children for pornographic purposes shall be punished with the imprisonment of 10, which not be less than 5 years, and shall also be liable to fine. And in the event of second and subsequent convictions with the imprisonment, the term shall not less than 7 years. Monikoro jone se same offense ta second or third time kore, to se punishment ta bodi jaye jagare. First 5 years thai. When the person is second or the third times subsequently convict that once, that imprisonment punishment will be a little bit enhanced. That is 7 years. That has come to 7 years with fine. Second, whoever using a child or children for pornographic purposes under subsection 1 commit an offense referred to in section 3 and section 5, section 7, section 9, but directly participating in the such pornographic act shall be punished for the said offense also under section 4 and section 6 and section 8, section 10 respectively, in addition to the punishments provided in the subsection 1. whoever doing the same that whoever using the child or the children's pornography, that pornography section a little bit in 2019, that section has been raised, that punishment has been raised in 2019, that POSCO Act amendment that has been raised in many cases. I will go one by one. That one, use for child pornography purposes, maximum 5 years. That was in 2012. But in POSCO Act Amendment Act 2019, that has been 5 years only. Use of child for the pornography purpose resulting in penetrating sexual assault, minimum 10 years. That was in 2012. But in 2019, that has come minimum 10 years in case of child below 16 years, and 16 years in case of minimum 10 years in case of child below 16 years. After that, that has been maximized, and that has been here 20 years and maximum life imprisonment. Use of child for pornographic purpose resulting in aggravated penetrating sexual assault, life imprisonment. Previously, it was life imprisonment. Then after that, that has been come to 7/1/2019. Minimum 20 years and life imprisonment and death. For fifth number, use of child for pornographic purposes resulting to sexual assault, minimum 6 years, maximum 8 years was there. After that, that has been again amendment has come to 2019, 3 years and maximum 5 years. Next, use of child for pornographic purposes result in aggravated assault, maximum 8 years and minimum 8 years and maximum 10 years was there. After that, that has been come in 2019 amendment, 5 years and 7 years. Like that, this section 14 has been little bit amendment in 2019. Punishment for the attempt to the commit of an offense. The same offense, whoever attempt to the commit any offense punishable under this act, and cause such as offense to the committed any such attempt does any act towards the commission of the offense shall be punishable with the imprisonment of any description provided the offense for terms which may extend to 1/2 of the imprisonment of the life. Suppose that person has done previously that same offense, and again that repeatedly that person is doing the same offense. So that has been 1/4 of the 1/2 of the imprisonment. Again, that will be added to that punishment. Section 21 to punishment 1 year imprisonment with the fine if any persons who has the knowledge of sexual harassment caused to the child fails to report to the same to the SJPU and or local police special court, child court, and CSW child line is required under section 19. Suppose any persons knowingly, if besides neighbor and beside the schools and somewhere, some places, the person is knowledge about the sexual abuses has been done to the some child, and she is not reporting to the concerned authority people within 24 hours, then that person has to be punished by 1 year imprisonment with a fine. Section 22(2), punishment for false complaint against the adult. Any person is complaining falsely before the concerned authority, then that imprisonment is 6 months, and no punishment can be imposed on the child. If child is giving complaint, false complaint giving, then there is no any punishment to the child. But if adult is giving any false complaint to the concerned authority, then the 6-month punishment is there. Section 23 and subsection 4, punishment 6 months to 1 year imprisonment. Section 23 and 1. No person shall make any report or any present comments or any child from any form of media or studio or photographic facilities which may have the effect of lowering the reputations of infringing upon his privacy. And so, कौनसी छोटो children's रो कौनसी प्रकार जदि wrong report हो जाइए, suppose no person shall be report any present comments जो जगह दारो self esteem को आघात होते सेमती जदि से कोर्ट तो से मोगे punishable as suppose कोई अनुसार no report in any media shall disclose the identity of the child including his name, address, photograph, family details, school, neighborhood, or any particular which may lead to the disclosure of the identity of the child. I think you might know that this POCSO Act has come 2012, and only for the reason whenever that rape offense is committed, So many accused as going acquittal. That is the reason this POCSO head has come here for this little bit liberal to the children, and that has been decided. The trial has been gone in the closed courtroom, and not like that with police dress. All the things will be not there. And ସେମାନେ police dress ପିନ୍ଧିକି ଯାଆନ୍ତି ନାହିଁ, normal dress ରେ ଯାଆନ୍ତି ଆଉ ବହୁତ softly ସେମାନେ ଯେମାନେ victim କୁ ବ୍ୟବହାର କରନ୍ତି ଆଉ victim ର identity ଟାକୁ ସବୁବେଳେ ଲୁଚାଇକି ରଖାଯାଏ. That no report any media shall be disclose the identity of the child during this name, address, photograph, family details, school, neighborhood, or any other particulars. Because the victim already said due to the some bad names they will come with their family. That's the reasons they will hide, and that the provision is then POCSO. Any person who contravenes the provisions of subsection 1 and subsection 2 shall be liable to punishment with the imprisonment either description for a period which shall not less than 6 months, but which may extend to 1 year. 6 months through 1 year punishment also jail because is disclosed the violation of these rules under section 23 subsection 1 and 2. And again, in conclusions, I would like to say that this POCSO, why that POCSO Act has been enacted, because I repeatedly telling that previously when this sexual offense was committed to these children, and many of the things by the CRPC and IPC that people are acquitting. So this provision has been come that POCSO Act looks into the support system of children through a friendly atmosphere. Friendly atmosphere तांको trials हेबो एवं तार आइडेंटिटी टाकू लुचाई की करा रखा जिवो एवं कैमरा रे ट्रायल हेबो सब बेस बहुत किछि प्रोसीजरल सेतरे आसेला सेत पय ये POCSO एकटा एनएक्ट करा गला instead of CRPC, and this is the special provisions, the special act for the children have been come. So this is all about the punishment of the POCSO and the Juvenile Justice Act and the RT Act. Thank you for patiently listening. Thank you very much. Please short questions if you have any questions.
If you have any question on this issue, please ask question. You are free to ask the questions because that is important for you to remember.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. This is Premjit Bag from Navrampur, Help a Child of India.
Each question is
Sir. So, sir, actually, I want
punishment section विशेषकरी टीचर मान को पाइका एटी पचारियर अछि प्लीज पचारनु मु जानि छी कारण एगडा आसीबो वर्तमान आपन पक्कु जे
Hello sir, can you hear me, sir? Hello sir. Good evening, sir.
Sir, kindly unmute yourself, sir.
Sir, please unmute yourself.
RT Act रो section 17 मु आपन खाली रिमाइंड करके RT Act रो section 17 it says prohibition of physical punishment and mental harassment to a child. No child shall be subjected to physical punishment or mental punishment. तार अर्थ physical punishment अर्थ काहाकू अंठेई दवा बेंच ऊपर ठिया करे दवा door bahar kheda kare dewa outside the gate allow the child to stand not to attend the class making the roster position or twisting the ear hitting the child or any act which is physically committed upon a child or which can cause mental harassment jodi karibo tahale it is an offense under section 17 of the Right to Education Act. And under that provision, there is a disciplinary proceeding should be taken by the school as per the service rule against such person action नियाजिबो ता सहित मध्य इंडियन पेनल कोड रो धारा 323 अनुसार यदि स्लैबिंग करथिबे बा कोनसी फिजिकल असल्ट करथिबे for that punishment is also there. So both can go together. Criminal proceeding can go in the court against the complaint, or a disciplinary action by the committed can be started as a disciplinary action as per the service rule. तेणुकरी ए विषय टिके जागृत रहिबे पिला मान को कोन प्रकार मेंटली हरासमेंट करी कहबा स्टूपिड यू डू नॉट नो गधछु ए सो these words donkey, these words should not be used against the children. There are so many good films are there, but then I could have shown some of them which would have been very interesting for, but learn how to do the positive discipline, how to do the positive discipline to the children. One is a coercive discipline, taking action against a child, punishing the child. It was a primitive style. Today the things have changed, and you should know how to positively discipline a child rather than giving a physical punishment. एथिरे चार्ज शीट हबो, punishment हबो यदि आमे एई समस्त कार्य करथि पिला को बाडी तुबा गाली एक देखंतु ए जो सेक्शन 17 हला प्रोहिबिशन ऑफ फिजिकल पनिशमेंट जोटा सेटा मध्ये आपनकर सेक्शन 82 ऑफ जेजे एक्ट रे आछि ता अर्थ हमनकर राइट टू एजुकेशन एक्ट रे पनिशमेंट अछि ता पई का सेक्शन 82 कॉर्पोरल पनिशमेंट अछि सेथिरे अछि इम्प्रिजनमेंट एक्सटेंड फॉर 3 मंथ्स तार अर्थ एथिरे जेल 3 मास एवं ताटू ऊर्ध्व अछि फाइन देन liable to be dismissed from service and also be debarred from working directly with the children thereafter. अभी डिसिप्लिनरी प्रोसीडिंग स्टार्ट हला जने टीचर बडैले गोटे पिला को ता अगेंस्ट रे राइट टू एजुकेशन एक्ट रे सेक्शन 17 रे बुक करा गला केसटा सर्विस रूल रो जो प्रोविजन रो अछि मिसकंडक्ट ता बुक करा गला रीड विथ सेक्शन 82 ऑफ द जुवेनाइल जस्टिस एक्ट जो थिरे मध्य जेलटा 3 वर्ष पर्यंत हेई परिबो डिसमिस ऑफ द सर्विस हेई परिबो सेक्शन 82 रे. So these are all new law. You should remember जे 2020 रे कोविड पीरियड रे Government of India has legislated the amended the POCSO law, and now there will be a child protection committee in each school by government and by the private bodies, which has not come, but many of the private schools have come with the new child protection policy. So under the child protection committee, this provision will also be inserted, that is section 82, section 17, and other relevant persons, and exploiting child for any other things with cruelty and section 75. So एथिरे दंड अछि 3 मास रु 3 वर्ष पर्यंत चाकरी जिबार संभावना अछि एवं ता सहित पुलिस मध्ये पैरेलल आउट केस करि परिबो आज इंडियन पेनल कोड सेक्शन 323 एते गुडिया दंड रहिबा भितरे स्कूल रे पिला मान को हमें केमती चलेबा. एक्सटर्नल इंजुरीज बेसिकली जोटा हमें कहूछु जोटा बाडीला पर आखिटा कळा हे जायछि गोटे जगह ब्लू हे जायछि खंडिया हे जायछि बा फ्रैक्चर हे जायछि ए बळिया काम जोडा को ताकू जदी आपण किक करचिंदी गोडे गोइठा मारचिंदी स्लैपिंग करचिंदी कान मोडिचिंदी आ विभिन्न प्रकार ताकू उठा बसा करचिंदी सिट अप्स नीलिंग डाउन पुलिंग द हेयर ए बळिया फिजिकल जो अब्यूज करा को करिवे सेकरा पनिशेबल. सो इट इज अ वेरी हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट टू द टीचर्स, डोंट डू दिस थिंग जोडा आपण मानकू बर्तन कोहा जाउची एगुडा करिवे नै. जदी करिवे आगे गोटे पनिशमेंट थिला एबे 3-3टा पनिशमेंट आ भीतर जोड़ी हे गेलानी आउ ताहा परे चाकरी जीवार बहुत संभावना अछि. चाकरी गला परे बा पनिशमेंट पाइला परे such teacher cannot work directly with the children thereafter. कोनसी चाइल्ड राइट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन रे अर्थात स्कूल किबा हॉस्टल किबा कोनसी चाइल्ड बेस्ड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन रे काम करि परिबे नै. सो वी नीड टू बी वेरी केयरफुल ये हमें जेमती ए भली आइन रो भीतर पडिबो नै. रागो छाडी दि घरे आसीबा एठी रागिबाने. We will not get tempered with the children. If you have a bad temper, please control yourself. BP achi, control your BP. Come laughingly, go laughingly, otherwise we just take tension after doing a small. You know, I understand the teachers community's feeling. You are all doing good for the children. You want that your children should learn good. learn more, learn correctly. They do best. Your school, every child should go first division. 50% students should go 100% mark in each subject. This is good expectation of a teacher and the management. But it should be done keeping in mind this provision that you don't get into trap of section 82 of the JJ Act and section 17 of the RT Act and section 323 of the Indian Penal Code. अन्य punishment गुड़ा तो already sir कोई सारी मुता को कहूनी से गुड़ा को penetrative sexual assault एवं sexual harassment रे एक special court रे trial होगा ये गुड़ा को general court रे trial होगा बा disciplinary proceeding तीन रे place रे trial होगा हमारे Cuttack humanitarian through a help a child of India तरफरू ए जो special program टी कराई की दीदी ने काली सुंदर भावरे यार subsequent phase गुड़ी को बताई दिया जो ये proceeding केम की हुए कौन करा जी परे ताहले you can defend how you can defend yourself. That also you should learn. It is a good process. You will learn yourself and teach others. अपन माने सिखंतु एवं अन्य मान को सिखांतु. यही अमान को इच्छा so that every child is safe and we wish all our teachers are also safe. Nobody is punished because punishment is not a good thing. किंतु हमारा negligence से punishment ना हो सही पे का ये awareness camp है. We are conducting this awareness camp. See that no teachers are booked inside jail or lose their service because of ignorance of law. That is how this legal awareness on the POCSO and child protection is being arranged by Help a Child of India and Cuttack Humanity. Thank you very much. If you have any question, still you are allowed to ask. किसी क्वेश्चन अच्छी कौन तो
सर गुड इवनिंग सर
यस
मार गोटे विषय बुझार थिला सर आपण कहि गले स्कूल गुडा करे किबा इंस्टीट्यूशन गुडा करे किबा ट्यूशन सेंटर रे कोन प्रकार फिजिकल अब्यूज की माने जे कोन पनिशमेंट दे होबनी सपोज मु कहिबी जदी आम घरे पाठ पढ़ा समय जदी मु छुआ को बाडे ताहले आपण तो केमि क्या करे कोन करिवे सर केमि तारो
ए दफा लागिवो if you do this same in the school or do at home a child is a child and any punishment on a child is a crime is an offense and punishable under the law both POCSO Act JJ Act and Indian Penal Code घर में हो या स्कूल में हो दोनों जहां करेंगे वो गलत है इसके लिए सजा है I understand मैं जानता हूं कि when we are children we are punished by our parents and that is how we proudly say that because of that hitting we have come to this age but had you been at this age you will also have the same problem के जानी ची जदी सतरे भी माडो न होइतन आज हमें बेसी बोल होइतन हमें सबले गोटे साइड को देखु छु लेट अस टू बोथ साइड घरे भी पढ़ांतनी घरे बाडीले अभ्यास रहिले स्कूल रे हाथ बज्जू
ओके थैंक यू सर
थैंक यू Another thing I can tell teacher community जे प्राय सब स्कूल रे बर्तमान कंपलसरी हे जाई छी सीसीटीवी लागिवो सीसीटीवी फुटेज मध्ये रहइवो सो प्लीज see that your action is also recorded in the CCTV camera and suppose your action is recorded in the CCTV camera no law in the world can save you it will be a direct evidence against जणु भल पिलाई के हम समस्त कार्य करियो Yes. If we are through, we have already crossed 2 minutes.
Sir, there is one question. Sir, there is one question in the chat group. Is there any correlation between the POCSO and CRPC?
See, POCSO is the act for which punishment is given. Like Indian Penal Code, if you murder, life sentence. If you rape, this much of jail, 376. If you hit a child, 323. If you abuse a person, 294, Indian Penal Code. CRPC, Code of Criminal Procedure, says how the trial will conduct, how the FIR will be lodged, how the charge sheet will be filed. All these things will be done under the provision of the CRPC. Here in this POCSO Act, partly the POCSO Act is governed under the like the Indian Penal Code. So the different section, how the punishment will be. Except two deviation, here only the Evidence Act which is used in the trial, where 101 section 101 of the Evidence Act says the onus lies on the person who gives the information, a complaint. In POCSO Act, the child need not to give any proof anything. It is the other side has to prove otherwise. Other than that, the POCSO court also is guided by the CRPC, that is the Code of Criminal Procedure. Only punishment part is dealt by IPC and the POCSO is the same. CRPC रे कोर्ट केमती करिवो, एफआईआर केमती रजिस्टर्ड हबो, चार्ज शीट केमती फाइल हबो, साक्षी केमती देबे, एविडेंस एक्ट केमती करा जिवो, एगरा सब सीआरपीसी रे सेटा गला. किंतु सीआरपीसी को आसीबो केतल ट्रायल को इंडियन पेनल कोड रे पनिशमेंट कले सीआरपीसी को आसीबो. सेमटी एथिरे पनिशमेंट कले पोक्सो रे सीआरपीसी रे ट्रायल हो. मनकर गोटे डाउरी केस हेगला, डाउरी एक्ट अछि, डाउरी एक्ट भायोलेशन हेले सीआरपीसी रे ट्रायल समान हो जेंदी इंडियन पेनल कोड रोची बा पोक्सो रे होची. बुझि पाइले तो?
So one more question is there. In a case related to bad touch offences, is medical examination needed to prove the offence?
No. One allegation is proved, it is not the bad touch. No medical doctor can say that this man has touched that girl or boy. Nobody can tell in that. But the child can say that it was a bad touch. But the CCTV camera will say, yes, there is a bad touch. The children around the child, victim child, will say it is a bad touch. No doctor's report is required. Please remember that today law has been totally changed. In rape case, earlier medical report was necessary. That there was a case of the Supreme Court says not necessarily. Many times the victim do not know, they take bath, they wash themselves, there is no medical evidence. So Supreme Court says beyond that. So similarly, in case of the children also, if there is a direct evidence that something has been committed, no medical report is required in case of a penetrative sexual assault. That time medical will prove beyond doubt that it has been done. But otherwise also without medical report, punishment can be imposed as per the new law propounded by the Honorable Supreme Court. बहुत केयरफुली हमको चलिया पड़ो. हमें इटा आरंभ करिछु, काली भी दीटा प्रोसीडिंग देखा जिवो. It is not only against you, also will tell you how you should take out the truth when some false allegation is brought against you. यदि आपन को against you a false allegation heiछि during the trial, how you will prove it is a wrong? काली से पार्ट रहिछि. We want justice for children, we want justice for our teachers also. Thank you very much. I hand over to Mr. Bisaranjan Mahanti, the President of Cuttack Humanity Center.
Thank you, sir. I thank Advocate Bididas and also Advocate Premraj for this beautiful session and informative session. Ame शिक्षक माननको we should save them and शिक्षक माने पिला मानଙ୍କର ଯତ୍ନ नेबे. आगे आम पई शिक्षक तेणु करी first the teachers and will what are the things we have to do, and everything has been clarified. And if at all kahar bhi kiछि question tha apan mane kali bhi pachari paribe, and we'll take up that. And thank you everyone. And apan mane jodi aji attend kari na thanda ei meeting, it successful hei pari na thanda. So thank you very much. Around 230 participants thile, especially teacher mane. सेथिमाई समस्त शिक्षक माननको नमस्कार और धन्यवाद दउछि. आ 12 जण क्वेश्चंस पचारि जंती. आउ भी जदी किछि मन रे कहार क्वेश्चंस थाए, please let us know and so that we can clarify your doubts. आ काली हमर सेशन अछि how to implement child protection policy. आ ता पई कोन करिया होबा टास्क फोर्स आ किपरि आपण माने इंक्वायरी करिवे, everything is there. So we hope that with a good number you will attend, and it will be helpful for you also as
You have got muted.
Muted is mute.
So thank you very much and good. Thank you.
Before you leave, please remember, please go through this, whatever has been taught to you. Any questions, it is there, please write down. Tomorrow you may not ask, put in the chat box. Tomorrow 6:30 to 7, we'll have a panel discussion to clarify doubt. Okay. It's not easy one day so you can think over it, okay, in this situation, what I should do, what I should not do. Do's and don'ts are very important things. So please write down your questions. Tomorrow you can give in the chat box and you can also ask directly. We'll have half an hour session. If required, we can extend the time also. Thank you very much. Have a good night rest. See you tomorrow.